Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things that we see them. And today we have a bit of breaking news here that we want to share with you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We were actually done producing content for today, and then I just came across a story here from Awful Announcing. I was like, oh man, okay, this would be pretty interesting to share with the audience. As you guys know, Max Kellerman, we haven't heard from him for quite some time, ever since he got let go from ESPN when they did that, when they basically did a series of firings, when they got rid of names like Jalen Rose himself, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, and others. At that time, he was hosting the show This Just In, but prior to that, he was on ESPN First Take with his former co-host, Stephen A. Smith. And as you all know, that relationship didn't end well. As a matter of fact, just recently, Stephen A. Smith, I forgot what forum he was speaking on when they were asking him. I can't remember the show, but because we did a show about it. And he was essentially like, they asked, whose fault was it? No, it was on Chris Carter's show. And he was like, whose fault is it that it didn't work out? He was like, it's Max Kellerman's fault. And then later on, he switched back over to say, no, it was my fault. So what happened? I was doing some research this morning, and I came across a pretty interesting article from Awful Announcing with the following headline. It says, Max Kellerman reportedly has something really cool dropping dropping soon. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Now, why is it interesting? Because I've been trying to figure out, like a lot of people, what's up with Max Kellerman. As a matter of fact, friend to the show, Marcellus Wiley, who's made a lot of appearances on the show, I used to try to get some information from him, like, hey, any news? Have you heard anything? Why? Because he knows Max Kellerman. He's like, Max is chilling, man. Max is chilling. Max is doing his own thing. He's doing his own thing. So I was like, okay, let me not pry too much. So when I saw this article, I was like, okay, this would be pretty interesting information that I want to share with you guys. But before we even get into what this article has to say here, today's video is brought to you by sponsor PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on sports and players you love. Pick more or less on 2 or more players in any sport to win up to 100 times your entry fee. For example, here's a possible winning player projection lineup. Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards and Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards. Josh Allen for less than 240 passing yards and CeeDee Lamb for more than 96 receiving yards. And if you're like me and you want to play safe, you will love the new features PrizePicks invented. Flex Plays. Flex Pays are the safest way to play PrizePicks. You can still make a profit or win some money back even if a couple of your picks don't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. All right, let's get into what the article says here. It continues on. He says, where in the world is Max Kellerman? According to Fox Sports NFL insider Jordan Schultz, he's getting set to resurface soon. It's been more than 15 months since Max Kellerman was laid off by ESPN in June 2023. And since that jarring round of layoffs by ESPN that included names like Jalen Rose, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Steve Young, Suzy Kolber, there have been no Max Kellerman sightings in sports media. Jordan Schultz joined the latest episode of Awful Announcing podcast, and during the interview, the NFL insider revealed the relationship he built with Max Kellerman during his time at ESPN, in part because their daughters went to the same school. And according to Schultz, the former First Take co-host has plans of making his sports media comeback very soon. We had dinner pretty recently, and I asked him, when are you making your next move? And he said, I've got something really cool in the mix. He wouldn't tell me what it was. He said it was soon. Schultz said on the Awful Announcing podcast regarding his recent conversation with Max Kellerman, it sounded really dope. I swear he did not tell me what it is, but it sounded like an awesome opportunity and one that he was super passionate about. He was on air for so long, and really he hasn't been for the year plus, and I know he wants to. He's not just sitting around. He's been aggressive trying to find the right opportunity, and I get a sense that is getting closer. Kellerman was making about $5 million annually for ESPN when he was laid off. And considering he was still under contract at the time, Kellerman has been able to continue collecting paychecks from ESPN until his deal expires later this year. Brian Kennedy joined the Awful Announcing podcast early this year and said Kellerman told him he has no issues getting paid by ESPN to do nothing. Kenny similarly predicted Kellerman will emerge later this year. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, it tells me that all of the people that I've heard talk about this, Schultz here, Marcellus Wiley, and others, have all been pretty much saying the same thing, that Max Kellerman will be returning at the end of this year. Now, they mentioned something about ESPN paying him $5 million per annum, and he had to wait until his contract had been fulfilled. Now, I don't know if there's anything in his contract that says you can't start doing any shows until your contract has expired. The reason I'm saying that is because if you look at other personalities that were let go from ESPN, people like Keyshawn Johnson, who Max Kellerman used to do a show with, he went on to do another show immediately at FS1. So I don't know if they have similar contracts or Max was spending this time looking for another opportunity, because if you look at Keyshawn, who used to be there, he's now at FS1. Mark Jackson, I believe, was on Cam and Mace's podcast there. Jeff Van Gundy, he made some guest appearances here and there, but he's back in coaching with the Clippers. So I don't know. I don't know if Max Kellerman's situation is different. Now, if we pay close attention to the article, it says something about, Max Kellerman was good. He liked being on television and all of that, which gives me some further insight that maybe Max Kellerman's return may be something related to television. Now, we had done some shows in the past where I said that maybe FS1 should consider bringing him in. Obviously, you guys know that Max Kellerman has a background in boxing. I don't know if they have any boxing shows, but he did show his versatility on ESPN First Take to be able to talk about a range of topics. Personally, if you're asking me, I think he would do really well at FS1. I don't see him going back to ESPN. So that's one option. FS1, Fox Sports 1 could be a possibility. Another possibility that we're not considering could also be that he goes to another network entirely, maybe ABC, or he does something with one of these streaming platforms, right? These are all possible outcomes when it comes to Max Kellerman. I personally believe that the sports media space misses voices like that. Yes, Max Kellerman has some pretty outlandish takes from time to time, like his Kawhi Leonard and Kobe takes, or the Cliff Theory with Tom Brady. But overall, I think Max Kellerman did some substantive analysis when he was on TV. Like, you could tell that the takes that he was coming out with were really well thought out. Whereas today, what we see a lot in sports media today is just a bunch of sound bites. People saying things that could possibly go viral. They can that can be cut up to little clips that you can see on TikTok, that you can see on Instagram, and that seems to be a thing, right? But Max, I believe, has the ability to do both. I believe that he can come up with those sound bites, those clickable moments, but also I think he can give you some substantive analysis when he's talking sports. And he's a very, very sharp guy. And I think the more smart people you have in sports media, the better it is for the viewers, quite honestly. Because I think the more and more we flood the sports media space with people just saying a bunch of nonsense and just not really putting much thought into what they're saying, I don't believe it serves sports fans. This is just my view. So I look forward to Max Kellerman's return at the end of the year, and I'll be very, very eager to see what it ends up being. But based on what I'm hearing in this article, it seems as if it will be something related to some type of job on television. So the question I have for the audience is this: a few ones. Number one, do you think FS1 should pick up Max Kellerman? Number one. Number two, do you think Max Kellerman is going to get another gig on TV, or do you think he's going to be on one of these streaming platforms? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.